All right, guys, is computer science worth it in today's day and age? And this is coming from a Georgia Tech student. So, first off, why listen to me? I am a Georgia Tech computer science student, and we are actually a top five CS school in the United States. So, a lot of what I'm saying comes from personal experience, and I have a little bit of qualifications backing me up. Now, if you're a student kind of wondering whether to major in computer science, if you're in high school, I think this is the video for you. First off, let's look at the industry. From personal experience, there is a clear oversaturation of computer science students. Everyone is kind of fleeing to major in computer science due to, the golden age of computer science with the high paying salary, the beautiful work life balance, and the ease of getting a job. But this may have applied back in 2018 pre COVID. I promise you it does not apply anymore. There has been a massive freeze in hiring, both in new grads and internships. And if you are a student that has not gotten into a top 10 CS school, I would say please try to consider other options. And I'll get into more why. I won't, just throw things out there and not explain it. But I promise you we'll get to that. So, first off, again, school matters. And the reason why it matters is since there's such a clear oversaturation. These companies will not look at every single resume. So, what will they do? They'll parse your resumes to make sure you're in a top five, top 10, top five school in CS. That's the only way they can filter through all this stuff. And it sucks, but that's just the reality we live in. And another important thing on internships is internships, in my opinion, are way more important than classes. You get that real world experience, you get the industry exposure, you get career direction, you kind of get to know what you really want to do, and you don't really get to know that through your classes. And the big thing here is networking. When you apply to your first real job after college, who do you think they're going to pick? The guy with one internship or zero internships, or the guy with three internships throughout their college career? And sadly, that is the reality that kids are having an internship every year of college, and those are just the type of people you have to compete with. A couple years ago, it wasn't this bad, but now, since there's an oversaturation, you're just competing with the best of the best. And that brings me to another point. I know a lot of people say that you don't need to be great at math to major in computer science. Contrary to belief, I would take that with a grain of salt, especially since there's a huge boom in AI and ML. I kind of estimate that most of the future computer science majors are going to shift in this direction. And AI and ML is 90% math. I've taken grad level machine learning, and I've taken artificial intelligence. It is purely algorithms and linear algebra and statistics. It is just 90% of that, and then the coding might be 10% of that. So if you aren't great at math, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. You can probably get by if you just stick with software engineering or data science, but you're going to have to take a lot of math classes in college and you will struggle. And it's not that you have to be great at math itself, but I've seen that students that are good at math can apply high level concepts to algorithms and understanding how certain code works. And I've seen that direct correlation. And kind of explaining why is there an oversaturation? I mentioned earlier that, everyone loves computer science because it's seemed as this high salary. You can get the six figures right out of college. The work life balance is great. You can work 9 to 5, maybe even less. And, it's seemed as the beautiful major since it's so easy. But the truth is, you are competing in today's world with the best of the best. You're competing mainly with the brightest minds at the top CS schools, and there's an influx of international students who are extremely hardworking and extremely intelligent. So you're also competing with these students. And with the freeze in hiring, the spots are limited. And even if you aren't aiming for big tech, I've seen even at Georgia Tech students are struggling to get, mid-tier companies, quote unquote. And Georgia Tech is a top five CS school. So that's really mind blowing. And these students that I know personally are exceptionally smart, great at coding, and are still struggling. And that kind of leads me to the last point. Cheating is a huge issue in today's day and age. Huge. With all these online assessments that companies will give out before it even uh, you know, giving a face-to-face interview, students will do anything to kind of get that face-to-face interview. And so cheating with the, boom of like ChatGPT, Cloud AI, etc., these large LLMs that can kind of do most of the online technical assessments, it's become a huge issue, and that's something you really have to consider. And that kind of leads me to the last point: is there is that lack of job security. Mass layoffs, especially at big tech such as Google, Meta, Amazon, have occurred recently, and having job security is a huge thing you should consider. And that's what the medical route kind of offers and boasts, is that job security. You can get laid off at any time if the market goes in a downward spiral and it's not your fault. So that's something to really consider. Uh, just getting the job itself is hard, and then worrying about retaining that job is also another stressful thing to consider. So looking at the future trends. So the past few years, I've been told over and over the market will get better, the market will get better. I've seen it's been stagnant, if not declining, and I only see an upward trend for more and more CS majors every year. And again, this kind of goes back to big tech, or even any company will struggle to handle so many applicants. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to filter out based on where do you go to college, what's your GPA, how many internships do you have, and how's your networking? Do you have a referral to this company? And believe it or not, students will go out of their way to be the best of the best, to get the referral, and a lot of times you don't even stand a chance before you even applied. And take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. If you love computer science, if you love to code, and you're in high school, and that's what you want to do, go for it. But I want to warn you that the saturation in the market is pretty bad right now. But if you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to go to meet all the qualifications needed, computer science is for you. But if you're pivoting to another major, you're not sure, I hope this video gives you a better understanding of what you're going to get into. And yeah, take that with consideration when you're deciding your major.